Welcome. My name is Masha Anna, and this is the Art of Elevated Living.
That's good. That's good.
Welcome back to the Art of Elevated Living. Today we are at Relevant Building Company, where they convert shipping containers into homes. I will be interviewing Carl, who will show us around and answer some questions we have.
We're going to start here in the shop. This is where we take them out of the metal shop where they've been fabricated, and then we bring them in here. So today we have kind of three different tea houses I can show you. One that's kind of beginning, one that's in the middle, and one that's all done. So
Okay,
we'll just kind
wonderful.
of talk about the highlights of it, right?
That'd be great.
So this is the one that kind of framed up.
Carl explains how they insulated every nook and cranny with spray foam 10% better than code. This eliminates condensation, so where houses get dry rot, the containers can get rust if there is no insulation.
So we put paint on the floors to encapsulate any contaminants, and then we put plywood over that, and the finished floor that you'll see later is on top of this plywood.
Now, are most of these containers new containers or gently used containers, or how do you pick them?
When we started this business about 4 years ago, we bought all used containers. They'd been out to sea. They were 12 years to 15 years old. They were dented up. We did the stink test. We found failures, right?
Okay.
Now, and I think it's probably because of COVID, almost all the containers that we get have been used one time.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
actually ordering them now in different configurations from China to have built, fill them up, send them over here, and then recycle them. At the same time, the codes are kind of changing. Codes in general are not our friends in this business. This is why it's so expensive to get into. So one of the other things that we do is people ask us, when we have flat roofs, how do we keep the water out? So what you can see up on top here is a piece of flat steel welded the entire 20-foot length of this container on the back side, which when you put two containers together, that protruding steel basically makes an area that water has to go off the sides. And so we rely on that, right? And we've set that up. The container that will be in a few minutes has had that on. It's sat out here for 2 years. We've never seen a leak inside. So it's real easy to foam fill that, caulk it up, put a cap flash on it, and have it be really reliable. On the other hand, some people want to have a sloping roof, so we have a sloping roof option for almost everything we do. That
Okay.
we've got pre-engineered.
Okay.
The other thing is just sticking to kind of rain,
Okay. Yeah.
water
Especially
intrusion
for
issues,
Oregon.
right?
Yeah.
So we put this flashing up here. Again, that's welded to the container all the way along. And that ends up, if you look from here, where you can see it real easily, over to here where it's got trim around it, you can see what the finished product looks like.
Oh wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So it covers up the
Oh my
wood that's
gosh.
on it.
Very well designed.
Trial and error. Yeah, so this is the bump out. We start, you can see that's the container wall there. The containers are always 8 foot wide. And here again, I just stumble across these things that I take for granted. This is a flashing for the door. So the door sits in here, and you see that that's raised up to match the level of the future floor. So when the door's in there, if there's any leaking around that door, it hits this and it runs off the outside. So, we really, really tried super hard to make it durable. Right?
Yeah.
That's what we're selling, is durability. This has now got, it's trimmed out. We have a doorway here that's going to go into the 40-foot unit. Always one side does have no floor in it, because when we get these set, we want to place the kitchen, which has the cabinets, the plumbing, the flooring all in it, and then we want to be able to fill the gap between them and then carry that floor all the way across. So we do some of the work on site when it gets out there.
Okay.
We don't want to just put a patch down the middle of it and have it look funky.
I love the colors too. They're just so neutral.
It's so funny.
And just warm and
This is the
Yeah.
only color we've ever painted the inside.
oh my gosh.
And we like it so much, we don't even offer people a choice. We kind of say,
So
well,
this is just the
this is what you're
standard.
gonna get.
Okay.
We'll do the outside whatever color you want. We don't care, but we're
Okay.
kind of odd about that.
It's a
That'll
beautiful
change. Some people
color.
won't want it.
Each container home is customizable, and all the kitchen cabinets are made by IKEA using upcycled material.
I mean, just the configuration, just to think about it, right?
What's weird is this seems so simple now to us, and we've got some stuff we're doing that's got us kind of baffled about how we go about it.
It's remarkable.
So you can see that this is a pretty well used container, right? This is
Okay.
There are also different roof options you can choose from. Here is a sloped roof on one of the homes.
so the roof will then have that kind of raised up look of it, right? This is a 40-footer that we're showing.
Do they need to be on a foundation?
So that model there is step 2. We actually build it now so that the insulation is above the floor. So then it's a completely code-built house and it can sit on 4 points. And like it's sitting there now, it's sitting on 4 corners.
Okay.
Everything here is sitting on 4 corners.
Right.
Because they're made to do that.
I had the privilege to photograph 2 of the container homes fully furnished by local designers last year. I will include the information in the description box below.
Came up with this model, which we're super excited about.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of we bumped out the wall. So the original container wall is right here where the beam is, again, holding up the roof.
Yes.
And then we added this on. So we extended the floor out with steel, and then we built this out of normal construction methods, 2x6 walls, all that stuff, trying to find a cheaper way to build them and still use the benefits of the container. So for us, we call this a hybrid. Part wood, part steel, and it has to have a roof when it gets on site because of the way we've designed this. But we ship it out watertight. It just has to have a roof built over for longevity.
How are these homes different than a tiny home, let's say, or a manufactured home?
So the code that we use is the same one you use when you build a house today, any place in Oregon or in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So, and to us, that's kind of the top of the line, right? And that's where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I said earlier that we insulate heavier than necessary. We put fresh air in all of our houses, and we're doing all that partly because Energy Trust requires those elements, and we want to build the Energy Trust level of construction because that initiates things like whole health for the person living inside, i.e. the fresh air.
Yeah.
Conservation efforts like Better Than Code for insulation. So we like that platform, so we built at that level. We sort of stumbled into the ADU market. We really didn't plan on that being we weren't chasing that, right? But we have a lot of homes that are under 800 feet. 800 feet is the maximum size you can put ADU in Portland, which is where we live. So, and other areas have different levels. So you can put 900 in Clackamas County. But since we're small, not tiny, right? And since we get building codes, we can build the ADU to code in somebody's backyard. And we do, it's probably a third of our business.
Wow.
So we'll have tea houses, the things we just saw in the shop, and what you'll see in the next one.
Yes.
We have those going as ADUs. Appliances are included in all of our houses. These particular ones are just cute. They cost more and they don't work as well, but they're cute.
Could someone purchase these appliances, or they would just have to do it?
Every time we sell one of these, they buy those appliances and tell me the same thing. I say they're not as good, but they're more expensive. And they say, oh, but they're so cute.
But they're so cute. Yeah.
Door we use for a door panel, and we're pretty
barn
we
door.
just love the looks of this.
Yes.
So this is the fresh air. It's a Panasonic EVR, energy recovery ventilator, that transfers bad air out, good air in.
How did Relevant Building get started?
See, I'm an excavation contractor by trade. I spent 40 years doing that. But I kind of got really interested in climate change about 20 years ago, and I probably should be retired now, but I really wanted to do something about making some sort of a difference. And I don't know, it's going to be infinitesimally small, but you can go any place in the world you can find container homes being used by people. But for some reason, in the United States, it's really, really hard to be able to do that. There's a lot of engineering, a lot of challenge in the code, whatnot, to get through that. And I just felt like somebody's just got to kind of step up and push that through. And so this business was started between myself and my two sons, and you know I've got 1 foot out the door, and when we can figure out a way to make that complete, then we'll worry about that. But it's all kind of driven by a desire to have a conversation about climate change and how should we live in differently and more durably and smaller and all those kind of things that make sense.
So it's a family-owned business. I love that. That's wonderful.
So, what would be the first steps to acquire a container home?
So we normally start out. We have a crackerjack team of gals. We have 2 gals that do Revit, which is a computer CAD program for modeling that gives you 3D renderings, and we have another gal, Callie, who is our permit specialist. And so we hire on to people all the time. You would say, we'll take a deposit from you, we'll work against that deposit to change the windows or redesign the house or go get the permits or whatever you want to do. And since we've got some history, I have all the plans and drawings, we provide all the engineering, all that stuff comes from us, so that when you hire us, you're kind of trouble free, other than questions about how do you want the windows to open, do you want them to be black or white, all those kind of things, so that we can detail it the way you want it. We used to think we're starting out in the production business. Now it's kind of like the custom production business, right? We try to standardize as much as we can, but everybody has a different view, so they need that window put someplace else, right?
Right, exactly.
So once all that's done, then we acquire a permit. And in the meantime, we're early on, we've priced it all up so people know what they're paying. The loans are the same as a house, so it becomes kind of standard construction after that. And so we'll do most of it in our shop. Some of them have to be done partly in the field, like the deluxe model. It's got a lot of field work that has to happen.
Okay. So what's the largest home that you've built?
We did a custom design. We took a deluxe and we have kind of blown it up. And so I think that's going to be about 1,700 feet.
Okay.
That's as big as we've done so far.
And the smallest?
The very first one we did was 160 square feet.
Oh my gosh.
And it was permitted by the state. And when it went to renew the permit, the state said we decided it's too small to be a house. So we really couldn't argue that. So we make a 320-foot model.
Okay.
That's a legal house that we can build.
All right. Wow.
Yeah, it's small. I'll show you the 320-foot version, but it has a bump out. We call it the step 2. But it's completely outfitted. It's got a bedroom. It's got a wider living room because the bump out, like you see right here, is in the living room area, right?
The bump out. Okay.
And so it feels a little bit larger. It just feels more inviting.
Yeah, this is very spacious.
This is our biggest seller.
Yeah.
This is an 800-foot, 775-foot tea house. 2 20-foot units teed into a 40-foot unit. This is the same thing you saw in the shop. This was in the Street of Dreams a couple of years now, and we've kind of parked it here to leave it for a few more. So it's got upgrades on the appliances. We built this coaster because it's too small of a space for an island, but it needs to have an island. So we made something.
Wow. And then you're able to it could be part of the kitchen if someone wanted something like
exactly.
this.
Yeah. Or if you want a buffet, you can put it against the wall, whatever you want to do.
And are all the countertops quartz?
All
It looks
are,
like.
Yeah. We use 2 colors.
lovely.
Can you tell?
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Any place we got a hole, we'll try to fill it with something. Well, we were fortunate enough to be able to build a common center at the Kent Women's Shelter, which is sleeping pods for homeless gals that needed someplace to have, ADA compliant showers and laundry facilities and a kitchen area and bathrooms and the like. And we think that there's a need for that. So we've kind of come up with models of what our version of pods would be like. And it'd be taking like a 40-foot unit and making it a legal unit for people to live in, because it's really, really hard to get those legal. Again, the code isn't the friend of something unusual like a sleeping pod, right? We're trying to be involved with energy conservation really big. So, solar and all those kind of things we advocate for. Our shop is all solar. Everything we do here, this company is kind of a net zero company because we have enough solar panels to cover that.
So speaking of solar, could you add solar panels if you wanted to implement that? Okay.
Yeah. We put our meter base, it's kind of weird, but we put our meter base on the outside of the house with basically a circuit breaker panel with it that is for outside things. If I want to run electricity to my shop, I can take it right there. So if I want to run solar on my roof, I can take it from right there and run it right up the side of the house, and 7 feet up
Wonderful.
there.
I mean, your company just seems like you're hitting all the right marks when it comes to energy efficiency and also giving back to the community, and I love that.
Right. That's our mission.
Well, thank you, Carl, so much for taking the time and showing us around and answering all of our questions. What you're doing is absolutely incredible.
Well, thanks for showing interest in it.
Yes.
Right? I look forward to seeing that.
We hope this answered a lot of questions about container homes. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode on The Art of Elevated Living.